We're live. How's it going, you guys? Um, uh, Toth. Oh, by the way, I'm your host, man of letters, Keith. Knowledge, information, and entertainment. Um, Forgive the slow, sort of, somewhat unorthodox live. It's late, and I didn't have time to set everything up, so we're running it as is. But I'm not sure what it was, but I was feeling the spooks tonight more than usual. And there's something I wanted to talk about specifically with thought and time. The reason why is because a lot of people at the spiritual and New Age movement have a very dangerous sort of idea of reality, if you will. Part of that danger, welcome to the danger zone, is they don't take anything seriously. Um, Myself included for quite some time. But here's the catch, here's the thing. Just because just because we shouldn't take things seriously all the time doesn't mean we shouldn't take them serious ever. Right? Prime example. People will say we live in an illusion and nothing matters. Everything is changing, everything is fleeting, therefore everything is subjective, everything is determined only by your perspective, by your viewpoint. And you're only right half the time. Half the time you're right, half the time you're wrong. And what that means is we don't actually ever get anywhere. And here is a case with time, and in the Emerald Tablets, a reference to time and Toth. So Toth basically asks the homie. Toth turns to his elder. He says, "What is time? Um, what is time?" And I'm paraphrasing here. But the answer is this. In the beginning, there was thought, eternal thought, right? The all is this eternal thing. The all isn't eternal because the all is undefinable, but we can call it eternal to the best of our abilities to describe a thing that cannot be described. Here's the catch. In order for something to be eternal, infinity must exist. Eternity must exist. So thought had the pervading action into the void, into nothingness, creating with it time in order to measure something as infinity. So here's what, as described by the Hermeticists, time is constant, being one of the primary laws extending from source. It is constant. Forgive me, it's pushing midnight here, but I had to get this out. Time is constant, and we are the only things that change through time. So time sort of acts as a placeholder of consciousness, right? Because our conscious minds are going from thing to thing. I'm looking to the left, I'm looking to the right, I'm having a thought about what I'm going to say next, I'm having a thought about what I said before. So these things are snippets of reality. So time is a placeholder for all these snippets of reality. So when someone says time is an illusion, what they're alluding to is time has no meaning, is that time is completely subjective, and it's only subjective half the time. Now, I don't know. Part of why I hop in the live was to rummage, was to brainstorm with you guys. Why is this important? Because if we look at Thoth, let's see if I can pull up the text right now. If we look at the text, Thoth basically gets this information from his elders, where they say, time does not change, but all things change in time. It's a placeholder for consciousness. And then Thoth goes, I left and thought about it because I knew that in that piece of information were some serious secrets, if you will. How loud is this cranking up right now? How we doing on the feed, you guys? Am I blaring you guys out with the fan? Is the fan too loud? Nikki. Hi, how's it going? As per usual, always holding it down. Foo first? What up? Elizabeth? God knows what you're doing up right now. Hopefully some necromancy is why you're up right now. Well, if time is the control mechanism, you control humanoid with time perception. Then that means time controls everything. So if time controls the humanoid, which I'll accept, that means it must control everything. Humanoids, alienoids, insectoids, demonoids, all the oids that you can think of must also be controlled by time. So again, the key is how do we rise above the control of time? Well, let's take a look at the text. I know that there's some words, Zin Uru, so there's words that you can chant that will give you power in chanting the words, and the word is Zin Uru. Zin Uru, so maybe we can all go to bed tonight chanting Zin Uru, hoping to Toth that we dip out on some crazy adventures in the night. All space is filled with worlds within worlds, so that's just an allusion to correspondence and the holographic universe, that all worlds are in worlds. Here's another interesting thing. Now this is going to get kind of meta on you guys, but also in the text he talks about, I'm going to butcher it. He says something along the lines of every goal he goes towards, it eludes him for all eternity. Basically, the more he tries to get something, the further it goes. The more he tries to ascend, the further ascension extends into infinity, because infinity is infinite. So growth is infinite. So I'm not sure how, but there is a way to escape the infiniteness of trying to get to something when something exists infinity away. And math actually describes this. So you take 2 and you divide it by 2. I'll pull up my calculator right now. 2 divided by 2. Actually, no, that doesn't make any sense. We'll do 4 divided by 2. The answer is 0.25. Now we can divide 0.25 by 2, turns into 0.125, by 2 turns into 0.00625. So basically what we can do, and this is a mathematical conundrum, if you will, is we can divide a number in half to infinity, and we can explain through math, which is the strongest thing we have to prove something. The most basic, fundamental thing we have of proving is math. So math proves that we can divide a number in half into infinity. What that means is, if it should be technically impossible for me to walk to my bedroom door, because let's say my bedroom door is 8 feet away from me. Well, technically, 8 feet can be divided in half to infinity, which means I shouldn't ever be able to reach my door, because that means there's an infinite amount of space in between me and the door. So how is it that I'm actually able to get to my door when I stand up and walk over there? Not many people know. It's sort of this weird thing that happens with math. It's really strange, but I think this is what Toth is alluding to when he says, so let me see if I can find the passage now. Is it space time? Okay, he says, long have I wisdom, sought wisdom, I, and shall seek of eternity's end, for know that ever before me receding shall move the goal I seek to attain. Even the lords of the cycles know that not yet have they reached the goal, for with all their wisdom they know that truth ever grows, which is powerful. We'll run that again. Long have I wisdom, sought wisdom, I, and shall seek. Long shall I seek wisdom until eternity's end. For know I that ever before me receding shall move the goal I seek to attain. Again, if your goal is in that direction and the universe is expanding, or it exists infinitely in every direction, how is it that I can gain wisdom, the goal that I seek? And he says, even the lords of the cycles know that even they have not reached their goals. Back to time. So people say, well, time is an illusion, it doesn't mean anything. Bullshit, time is an illusion. Time is an illusion the same way that everything else in existence is an illusion. And everything else exists as an illusion because it's not the all. It's not part of the origin, right? Because in order to have this illusion of separation, we must have some version of the ego. And the ego is what gives us the first illusion. But it's a fucking real illusion, you guys. You can't buy into the sort of fucking the new age spiritual jargon has gone way overboard with this topic of everything is an illusion, therefore it doesn't mean anything. Bullshit. You serve those who are on the higher plane. And Toth says this, but he says this as Hermes Trismegistus in the Kabbalion. He says what we do is, knowing the laws, we become gods on the plane that we exist on, but we still serve those on the next plane, right? So you can be a god in this plane, but the entities on the next one you serve. As soon as you get to the next one, you become a god of that, and everything underneath it you still serve. You still serve. You're always serving the higher source to infinity, again, because we exist in an infinite world. Another reason why everything is an illusion is because of this phenomena of polarity, how opposites define each other. I mean, even my face, right? Half of my face is dark, half of it's light. The light is coming. The light on my face, the shadow is coming because it's casted from the light bulb that's next to my head right there. Without the light, there can be no shadow. Without the shadow, there can be no light. Without happiness, there can be no darkness. So what that says is darkness doesn't really exist. It's just an absence of light. You could say sadness doesn't exist. It's just the absence of happiness. but then you take away sadness, you can't have oneness other than source. It kind of goes in circles, and that's what they mean by illusion. Like, it exists and it doesn't exist. The only thing that is real, truly real, is something that is never false. Right? Because if you are false for one moment in time, then you become an illusion, because sometimes you're there and sometimes you're not. And if you're sometimes there and sometimes not there, you are an illusion. You're a mirage. But the all is always there. Has always been there, will always be there, takes up an infinite amount of space, and is even bigger than infinity, because as we just learned from the Emerald Tablets, the only reason why infinity came about was because thoughts, the original thought, pervaded nothingness. And because thought pervaded nothingness and was eternal, time had to be created in order to measure eternity. Time doesn't change, things change through time. So I guess I'm not necessarily giving you secrets on how to operate time, other than Zen Udu. More so to not belittle time, not to see it as something that is meaningless because it's a quote unquote illusion. Like, sure, I guess time is an illusion, but okay, your life is an illusion? Does that mean you're going to go throw yourself off a 10-story building because everything's an illusion and it means nothing? Like, yeah, sure, you'll be reincarnated as something else somewhere along the line, but do you want to is that how you want to progress through existence, by throwing yourself and splattering all over the concrete? Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. So again, I guess if you get anything out of this video, is to not buy into generic spiritual dogma like time is an illusion or everything is an illusion, because again, it is and it isn't. So try not to strip away your own power with the words that you use, with the language that you use, because while things are or tend to be illusions, they tend to be very fucking powerful illusions. And if we are not wielding that power, the power is wielding us, or someone else who is wielding the power is wielding us. Right? Remember that. We become gods on the plane that we're on, but we serve the next one. When we get to the next plane, we ascend. Then we become gods on that plane and underneath, but we serve the next ones. We serve the next ones. We serve the next ones. We can't get away from hierarchies, you guys. I know another area of spiritual new age sort of catalysts tend to be this strip away all hierarchies and everything is perfectly fair and perfectly equal, and that's fucking not true. It's not. Just go out, go watch a fucking nature documentary and watch the poor baby elephants dying in Africa because they can't find water. I don't care how cute the elephants are, they're gonna die of starvation, they're gonna die of dehydration, because it's fucking welcome to planet Earth, right? Things balance in the end, but remember the law of rhythm, right? The pendulum will always swing. It'll swing to light, it'll swing to dark, it'll swing back to light, it'll swing back to dark for all eternity. It will always fucking swing. Happiness to sadness, motivation to lack of motivation, love, hate, fear, courage. You will always have the swing. It's the rhythm. It's the fucking rhythm. It's like music, right? You can't have music without a beat. So if I don't have my instruments with me, but if I played the C note on my piano and I just held it there for all eternity, is that music? Of course not. Right? There has to be a gap in the notes. There has to be a gap in the music. There has to be space in between the notes to create harmony. There's space, and then there's music. There's space, and then there's sound. There's movement, and then there's non-movement. And this is what brings this so-called illusion of reality into existence. It's a pulse. It's a fucking heartbeat. It's a frequencies and vibrations are all the same shit. A frequency is firing. It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's up, it's down, and you see frequencies, right? So they actually move in circles, frequencies, but the only reason why we see them up and down is because we're looking at a 2D representation of them. But how frequencies are actually moving are spiral circles, and they go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down. And there's a crest and there's a trough, and there's a crest and there's a trough. That's the bomba clap. That's the bomba that drives existence, that drives reality. And knowing how to use those frequencies, knowing how to use those ons and off, those pulses and those regressions, knowing how to use those to our benefit is what sort of creates our reality. And I know I'm speaking very vague, and it's super sort of wishy-washy and again, philosophical. And that's for two reasons. The first reason, I guess it's really only one reason. Really the only reason is because each scenario, each goal that you're trying to accomplish, whether you're trying to get a new job, whether you're trying to get a lover, whether you're trying to do spiritual rituals, or fucking design a business model, right? You don't have to. If you want to create successful things in your life, you have to learn the patterns of life and apply them to the businesses. Case in point, here's a perfect example. The other day, I went live, but I didn't want to go live. When I did the Nightmare Before Christmas, I didn't want to go live. I was all pumped and I was all motivated, right? I was relying on the emotion of motivation. But as we know, motivation is also its opposite, which is lack of motivation. What's the word for lack of motivation? Fucking sloth or something, right? Whatever. We know that it has an opposite. So I was relying on the emotion of motivation. When it came time to make the video, I lost the motivation. The pendulum had swung in the opposite direction. I was tired. I had been working all day. I didn't want to do shit. And I laid down on the couch and started watching Netflix. And I thought, Keith, shoot the fucking live. Get it done and then enjoy the night, right? So what I did is I used my will to polarize my energy on the motivation aspect. Even though I wasn't feeling it, I still polarized it. Regardless of the swing, did what I had to do. The live actually went super good. I had a lot of fun. It's gotten a ton of views. Now, prior to that, old school Keith would have been like, I'm going to make videos when I'm inspired to make them. That's when I make my best stuff, is when I'm inspired to make my videos. Otherwise, if I'm not inspired, it's just not going to come out right, which was just a bullshit excuse of me being lazy. There you go. That's the lack of motivation. Lazy. Which made perfect sense before, because that's something you hear, right? You have to act on inspiration, and you got to be motivated. And if you don't love what you do, then find something else. And here's the fucking truth of the fact. The truth of the matter is you're not always going to love to do something. Because love and hate are two sides of the same coin. And as you guys know, as I've been fucking drilling into your guys' heads, opposites are the same thing, and the rhythm of life will swing the energy between both of those things forever, for all eternity. So if we rely on the swing of the pendulum, we go one step forward, we go one step back. But if we rise above the pendulum, if we rise above the swing, if we don't allow, or if we don't rely on essentially external factors, which includes our emotions, right? Because our emotions are controlled by all kinds of things, our own thoughts, other people's thoughts, what we ate this morning, what we didn't eat this morning, whether we're exercising or not, whether we're at a shitty point in our lives, our relationships, maybe a book you read, all kinds of things influence your emotions. So it doesn't make any sense to rely on something that you don't have ultimate control over. And our willpower, is one of the things that we do have control over. So that's that, if you will. Elizabeth John, I see you've been busy in here. Oh, Ashir, what up? Um, ooh, Ashir dropping some knowledge in time loop. Time is trap. That's how you catch up and ascend in time without it getting further away, which is why the clock repeats. Trying to catch up with you guys' comments right now. What up, Quentin? Ashir, thanks for stopping in. Ruby. Sorry, I'm trying not to talk too loud. People are trying to sleep. Isha, baby, how's it going? This fan must be killing you guys. It's killing me. Soul of Sin. Speak of necromancy. What's up, cutie? Phoenix King asks, is that what Hermes said in the Kabbalion, moving up and to the right pattern in a frequency to travel? Yeah, actually never thought of it like that. I mean, I guess it depends on which direction frequencies travel, if they go clockwise or if they go counterclockwise. I don't know the answer to that. But fuck, it's already midnight. I'd like to welcome you guys to the Midnight Society. These guys ever used to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark as kids? But yes, you guys. It seems to be it, and it's also midnight. What are you trying to do with it, bro? Time really isn't the big thing about timing. Timing is a huge part of time. Absolutely. Timing sets the rhythm. Guys, I've been trying to fucking figure out what the hell he means by traveling in loops and not corners. I think I need to drink some of my dream spagyric drops and see if I can have a conversation with Toth tonight. Actually, we'll do just that. Oh, ugh. Holy hopscotch, Batman. And some Devil's Club for protection. Devil's Club tastes good, but the other one just tastes so bad that I can still smell it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Travel in circles because the hounds of the fucking gates will basically chase you down, but the hounds move in strange angles. So you must escape back to your body in circles, lest your soul be captured by the hounds and held until that fucking, what is it, that dimension transcends. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Where's Ashira at? Is Ashira on here still? Ashira, what's good with the fucking circles? My guess. My guess is that on this dimension, everything moves in circles. Planets move in circles. The Fibonacci is a spiral starting from everything in the galaxy is based off the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, if you guys have heard of that. And it always spirals. If you look at a snail shell, it fucking spirals. If you look at galaxies, they spiral. If you look at uh, what is the goal? You put it to the face, and you get the I think it's 3.14. What's the golden ratio? No, 1.1. No, 3.416. 1.16. So all I can guess is that no, that wouldn't. No, no, I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I don't have an answer for you. I'm fucking sorry. I'm sorry. Lupita, just Lupita, well said. The other jar is Devil's Club. The other Spajeric I have is called Devil's Club. And it's debatably one of the most energetically powerful protectants on the planet. And it comes out of the Pacific Northwest, and it's related to ginseng. Um, but it's a strong Mars, a strong masculine, good for the will, good, excellent for the fucking willpower if you have trouble with willpower or boundaries or um, those are the heavy hitters. Anything to do with the solar plexus basically is what the Devil's Club is for. It's also an adaptogen, so it balances your hormones and lowers stress levels and um, regulates blood sugar levels for people who are diabetes resistant. It's a powerful fucking plant. But I read somewhere online that if you're doing astral stuff or entity stuff or anything crazy dipping out on the other side, that you should use some sort of protectant. Um, beat it. No one wants to be defeated. Yeah, the Hounds of Hell are definitely talking about Michael Jackson's Thriller. The Hounds of Hell are prominent in folklore. Um, typically, hellhounds are used. Typically, mythologically speaking, hellhounds are used for gathering souls that have made deals with the devil, and the devil collects the souls by sending out his hellhounds that are invisible to everyone except for the person that they're coming for. And at least that's sort of the Americanized mythology of the hellhounds. If that does makes any sense to you guys. That being said, you crazy animals, I think I'm gonna call it a night because I have work in the morning, and should probably just sleep. Yeah, the hellhounds guard the gates into the next cycle. And according to Toth, if you try to get into the next cycle and you're not ready, how the hellhounds hold on to your soul until that cycle finishes in a sense. I think. Don't quote me, but it's something like that. Here's the thing. What? Well, the hellhounds are protecting the gates of the next cycle from people who aren't ready to go there. Why are they doing that? Let's say someone gets into the next cycle and they're not supposed to be there. Is it that bad that they're there? That the punishment is having your soul held on to for fucking billions of years until the next cycle happens. Is that it? If the crime, if the punishment fits the crime, right? Then holy shit, must that be chaos if someone were to make it into the next cycle when they're not supposed to be there. Soul of sin, why so sad? Why the long face? Fuck, I just got real hungry. Time is the control mechanism. 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 I'm trying to figure out if that makes sense to me or not. I'm sure you can control people with time, like telling them they have to set up their life according to time. But does that mean time is a bad thing, or does that just mean it's being used against the people? I guess that's the real question. Anywho, you guys have a good night. This is Keith Garcia checking out your Man of Letters. Thanks for being here, you guys. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to help out the channel, there's a link in the description for the donation to basically help pay for my dinner. To put this YouTube to good use. And yeah, you guys have a good night. Get some sleep.